Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of the Alpha Live podcast. It's episode 6 and we've got two amazing drivers lined up for you today. We've got TCR UK driver Adam Shepard joining us, and we've got British Kart Championship driver Brandon Carr, who's doing the double this year in both Junior X30 and Junior Rotax. But we'll start with our first guest of the show. It's time for Adam Shepard. Joining me now, our first guest of the Alpha Live podcast, Adam Shepard for the area motorsport team with Shepard Motors, racing in the TCR UK series. Adam, firstly, welcome to the podcast. Thank you very much for taking time for joining us.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having us.
Now, Adam, we can talk about TCR UK all the way through the day. We can talk about a little bit about the series so far as well. You've got your sim rig behind you. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but we'll start off with, firstly, congratulations from the last round, Donington Park National, for rounds 12 and 13. Your first maiden win, your first pole position as well in qualifying, and a second in round 13. I mean, what a weekend overall.
Yeah, it's great. It was what we all felt was a long time coming. We've put in all the hard work and come close a few times and had a few issues. So to finally put that to bed and get the pole, lap record, the win, it was great for us, all us, the sponsors and the team. It's brilliant.
I mean, a solid group of points that you gained from that as well. I mean, you put yourself third in the championship. You're only 4 points ahead of fourth place in that Bruce Winfield. So, you know, it's a very close championship still as you go into the final round at Snetterton 200. Do we feel like this is going to be a tense ending? Do we feel like we're going to get away with a P3 or potentially even fighting for second or first?
Yeah, we're going all out to win it now. There's no pressure on us. If you asked me 3 rounds ago, what was the plan? It was just go and win every race we can for the fun of it. Championship was largely over. We had a few issues at the first couple of rounds, so we thought it was all done and dusted, and we wasn't anywhere to be seen. So to come back like we have, and now have a chance of winning it, there's no pressure on us. We can just go full send and see where we end up. So yeah, the aim is to try and win it for us.
That I think that's what brings touring car racing into its own, really, with a lot of the drivers. So, you know, just sending it down the inside at any of the corners. I mean, with Snet 200 as well, plenty of places to go for a nice long lunge because there are some mega straights there with huge slipstreams.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm a bit gutted it's not the 300 because it's a bit more technical. But yeah, the 200 it's still a great circuit. So I'm sure there'll be lots of action. The last round of the year, it's going to be tight for sure.
Definitely. So we can talk a little bit about kind of what's happened in the season so far, because you've already kind of picked up on it about, you know, at the start of the season, it wasn't looking great. I mean, and it wasn't. I mean, we'll go back to Castle Combe, the disaster struck. You know, you had, your head movement there says it all. The puncture on the last lap. I mean, what goes through your head when you're leading something like that and then disaster like that strikes?
Yeah, it's a bit brutal. We were leading at Donington earlier in the year and had a damper foul, so we were kind of thinking, do you know what? Let's just take it as it comes. And then started Castle Combe strong. We qualified P2, led the whole way, and then it was last few laps. It was just really bringing the car home, not pushing, no curbs, and then last corner, last lap puncture was brutal. I think that you see on the stream how much it meant to me that when it went wrong. But yeah, we bounced back, and it's racing. It happens to everyone at some time.
Yeah, it does happen, and I think one person you can really put the blame on is probably Andy McEwen, because as he was commentating on that one, he was saying he commentated cursed the whole weekend on that one. But no, we love Andy. But it just shows that it can strike at the worst possible time, can't it? So, you know, you think you're invincible when you're in a race car, but it can just go wrong so quickly.
It can. I think I've always been very lucky in that sense. We've not had, before the start of this year, we've never had any mechanicals. We've been 100% race completion rate, really. I'm not the most sympathetic on the car. I do kind of push it quite hard, and I do take the mick a bit with curbs and stuff like that. So it is a bit of a learning curve. I think the good thing, the team and all the family and sponsors and everyone picked me back up. I was pretty down about it after race one, and as they said, it could have been the lap before and you didn't finish. You still had a P2, and if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be where we are in the championship now. So you've got to look at the positives, I guess. And yeah, it's brutal, but it's motor racing.
Motor racing at its finest on that one. But like you say, the season's been pretty decent for you. Like you say, you've had a second in round 7, 8, and 10 as well. So you've been pretty consistent in keeping that car up at the sharp end. But, you know, I mean, to drive these cars, how quick they are around some of these circuits, people watch them and they think, oh, you know, I drive a Hyundai. They're not that quick. But the difference that these cars are compared to your standard Hyundai road car is massive, isn't it?
It is. It's phenomenal. You don't realise how fast they are. Even some of the people that the mechanics for us that come and help out, and they've been around me for all my racing career and all the cars I've driven, and I just can't describe to them how fast they are. Like I was racing an E46 M3 full-on race car a couple of years ago, and we're lapping Donington like 8 seconds a lap faster than that. So they're just astonishing how fast they are. They really are a handful. From the outside, it doesn't look it so much, but inside they are pretty hard on you.
Yeah, they like I say, they're purebred race cars. I mean, I've seen inside them, and you know, you look at it, nothing screams standard road car at all. Absolutely nothing. It's fully stripped out. It's fully kitted. It's the works. It is a touring car. It is absolutely a fantastic piece of kit. And I think the one thing that I think a lot of people misrepresent when it comes to like the touring car paddock or the TCR paddock is they don't think, well, that's not a British touring car, but it is in a way. It's more of an older version of it, but they are still quick as them, aren't they?
Yes, if you look how fast we are, we carry so the balance of performance in TCR alters the performance of the different manufacturers between rounds, which isn't something that the British touring cars have. And we're carrying, I think, something like 70 kilograms of base weight over some of the other cars before our success ballast. So if you take all that out, how fast it would be is phenomenal. So the lap times that we're doing in these is astonishing, really. And when I first got in it, I didn't expect it to be quite as as good as it is, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, that just shows, doesn't it? And I mean, talk us through the start of the season, because at the start of the season, we were with different teams, weren't we? So you started the season with Jam Sport Racing, of course. That was working with was it a different car that you were started the season with, wasn't it?
No, it was the same.
It was the same car.
But, so what happened at the start of the year, we was originally going to be running with Area Motorsport. I've known Rob Baker, the owner of Area, for a long while. We raced against each other in Civics in 2015, and we've known each other a long while. The plan was always to run a Cooper originally with Area, and for a few reasons that didn't happen, and we ended up with the Hyundai, which we're grateful with. It's been a great car. So we started off the year with Jam Sport. It was a rocky start, not to do with any side particularly. It was just one of those things. We had car issues. It was just one of those starts to the year. And speaking with Rob, and we said, let's get back together like we planned originally, but we'll do it in the Hyundai. And since then, the car's been phenomenal. I think we've had a podium at every round bar one. I think now with something like that with the new car, or the newly prepped car.
Yeah. But I mean, it just shows, and I mean, because there is a smattering of different cars out on that grid. I mean, you've got the Golfs, you've got Audis, you've got the Cupras, and like you say, you've got the Hyundai. So there's lots really to choose from. But like you say, the Hyundai really shone out to you, and it shines out to a lot of drivers. And I think a lot of drivers thinking that the Hyundai is the car to actually go for in this series.
Yeah, I think we've historically it's done obviously very well, and it's doing well this year. But I think with the balance of performance, if you look abroad in Europe and World TCR, the Hyundai isn't necessarily winning all the time. So it is much of a muchness. You go to different circuits, and you'll have the Hyundai be strong. You go to other circuits, and different cars be strong. So I think that the WSC are doing a good job with the balance of performance to even that out. I think in reality, all of the cars have the potential to be winning. Obviously, working together with Area Motorsport, they've got a lot of expertise in TCR. They're running Cupras as well, and they've won. I think everyone in the team has had a win this year. So Cupras and the Hyundais of Area have all won. So I think it's just about getting the package you've got working to the best of its ability. And when you get to that point, there's not much to pick between them.
No, and when it comes to potentially maybe for next year, are we planning to rejoin? Do we think we're going to stick with the Hyundai, or are we going to change it up a little bit?
Yeah, I think we're going to stick with the Hyundai. We've invested a lot of time, effort, and and money into getting it to where we needed it to be after we bought it, obviously second hand. So you always inherit some niggly bits that need putting right. So for us, budget's tight. We're always running on sponsorship, and now we've got the car sorted, it'd be silly to move away, especially given the performance we're getting from it.
Like I say, if it's not broken, don't fix it, and keep using it. And this is your first year within TCR UK, and I mean, as a whole, I mean, how have we found it? I mean, you did the Type R Trophy last year. You won the Tagua Type R Trophy, and putting that into this touring cars this year, was it a major change? Was there lots of things you had to do differently, or was it just fairly simple to just switch over from the Civic to the Hyundai?
Yeah, we picked up the TCR concept quite quick. I've done a lot of racing. In 2015, I was racing Civics and won the championship in that, which was front wheel drive. We switched to rear wheel drive M3 and won the championship twice in that. So we've got kind of experience in both front and rear wheel drive and different kind of types of car. And then again, 2021, we won the championship in a different Civic. So we knew that we'd probably have the pace if we could get the car right. It was just, as you say, adapting to, especially slicks for me. This was the first time driving the car on slicks. So we turned up at Media Day at the beginning of the year. First time we drove the car was Media Day. We received it 2 days before. So we ended up going quickest on Media Day and breaking the lap record. So that was a bit of a shock.
That was a nice confidence boost.
Yeah. So I think we picked it up quick. We've done a lot of racing, so we can adapt to different stuff. But how physical it is for the arms with the amount of cast the car's running and the short rack, it definitely took a while. And as you can see in our results, I think throughout the year, as the cars got better and more dialed into my style, and I've learned it, we've got faster. And I think that's a lot about learning slicks, the way you bring them in, the way you scrub them when they're new. It's quite a lot to learn. The concept of having multiple sets of tyres in qualifying, people kind of box the new tyres and bring those in. It was all a learning curve, and I think we're getting on top of that a bit now, but it certainly isn't easy to make the jump straight away.
No, definitely not. And like you say, what you're saying there is pretty much true to form. Like you said, taking your first maiden pole position as well at Donington Park National. And again, that must be a nice feeling going into the weekend, because, qualifying is always one of those where it can either go great or it could go terribly so quickly. And, the fact that you say you've got that nailed now and you started that weekend with a pole position, a great end to the season, really.
Yeah, definitely. We since we got the car back from area, we've qualified Peter at Alton, Peter at Coombe. So the pole was just eluding us slightly. So to stick it on pole at Donington, but I think about 3 tenths in the end, we was all very happy with that. And we've found some more pace in the car since then. So we're confident that moving forwards we should be competitive. It's just trying to get the budget sorted to make sure we're out there each round.
Yeah, definitely, and that's always one of those struggles. Well, hopefully this can help with that. You can share it out, and everything you can get those guys to hopefully give you some help with that one. But, going into the final round, like I say, it's coming up very, very soon. 23rd of October, SNET 200. It's going to be a championship battle potentially out there, and you're just going to get stuck in straight away, aren't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think for us, it's put it on pole and win race 1 is the plan with fastest lap to try and get max points, see where the land lies for race 2. If you put it on pole and win, there's not much more you can do for that race, so that's the plan. And then race 2, I think it's all going to come down to the wire in race 2. It's going to most likely be last corner, last lap, whereas everyone's sitting and do you go for something or don't you? So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, there's quite a few points up for grabs. Now, it's 40 points for a race win, plus the fastest lap in each race. Then there's also 6 points for pole position, am I right in saying?
That's correct. Yeah, I think there's 88, up for grabs.
88 in total, and you're only, well, you're not that far behind. You're only about 30 points behind. So, it's doable, but it's going to be a challenge for you. But, yeah, like we say, we'll wish you all the best for that weekend. We are nearing the end of the time already, which is a huge shame. But, Adam Shepard, again, thank you so much for taking time out for joining us today, and we will wish you all the best at the final round of the TCR UK Series at Snetterton 200.
Thanks very much. I look forward to it.
We now move on to the news segment of the Alpha Life podcast, and once again, it's nearing the end of the season now. So championships are ending. A couple of championships already ended. Super 1, of course, they've ended. Bambino Kart Club, they've ended. In terms of Super 1, lots of champions crowned in that one, of course, because they've got the Rock classes, they've got the Rotax classes, and, of course, all the Bambino classes. So you can check out the Super 1 socials for all of that information. But one particular race that did really stand out, the Miami Bambino race from Shennington. 3 drivers at the end of that race had the chance of winning that championship, and whoever won that championship out of that top 3 won it, basically. So the top 3 were all racing all the way through that one. It was an absolutely fantastic race. I do recommend you go check that one. Andrew Mather on the commentary for that one for Motorsport Media. But yeah, you can check that race out on the Alpha Live YouTube channel, and definitely one to watch because it was pretty awesome. So recommend that one. Like I say, yeah, Bambino Club, Kart Club, they've ended as well. Of course, their champions you can find out on the socials also. But the biggest news coming out from that one is, of course, they are partnering with CKC for next year. So Darren Beavers and Matty Street, who have combined forces, are going to be joining to bring a pretty big paddock now for next year. So you've got Bambino Kart Club, you've got the Cadet Kart Championship and the Junior Kart Championship as well. They're all combining and will be one big paddock next year. So that'll be definitely one to keep an eye on. The final round of TCR UK, of course, that'll be coming to the screen soon on Alpha Live YouTube channel. You've got the final round at Snetterton 200. 2 drivers battling it out for the championship. Both Chris Smiley and Isaac Smith, both on 315 points going into the final round. Now, Snetterton's a tricky circuit. It's also one of the longest circuits in the UK in terms of touring car races, but they're not running on the 300 layout. They're running on the 200 layout, so it's the shorter of the two with very long straights and not many corners, so it should make it very, very interesting to see. So I recommend tuning in for that one. That one's hitting your screens 23rd of October on Sunday, so make sure you don't miss out on that one. Make sure you subscribe to the Alpha Live YouTube channel so you don't miss out on that notification hitting your screen. Nearing the end of the British Kart Championships as well, of course. 2 more rounds to go in that one. Myself and Henry Burdett will be on the commentary for that one. Of course, we've got the finals for that at Wilton Mill, double header, and the finals at PFI, of course. So that's going to be a very exciting one. Ending the seasons at PFI is always a great feeling for a lot of drivers, and especially here at Wilton Mill as well, a great one for drivers to race at. It's a challenging circuit as well, so that'll be very close for all of those championships, and it is close in a lot of those championships as well, so keep an eye on that one. KZ2 have also finished their championship now, of course, from Kim Bolton. A very, very close race. That is another final that I do recommend people go and watch. Go watch the KZ2 final champion from Kim Bolton. You can catch it on the Alpha Live YouTube channel as well. Charlie Turner took the overall, or he took second in that race, but took the championship by 2 points from James Glenister, who actually won that final. He did everything he needed to do, but unfortunately, Charlie just pipped into the championship. Tom Adams as well, he came 3rd in the race and came 3rd in the championship as well. So it was a rush performance 1-2-3 on track and a 1-2-3 in the championship. Brian Rush was wanting to bring all those drivers back, so hopefully we'll see all 3 of those drivers with the 1-2-3 next year in the KZ2 paddock as well. A bit of news from Formula 1, of course. A bit of a shame of how the Monza race ended under the safety car, which was a bit of a nightmare, and I think a lot of people are looking to wanting to change the rules and regulations of that championship, but yeah, so we'll have to see what happens with that one. And big news as well, Nick de Vries took the seat for Alex Albon that weekend. Alex went into hospital, I think, for an appendix surgery, and unfortunately we had complications with that one, ended up seeing him go to intensive care. So we do wish him all the best, and we do wish him a very speedy recovery. We are hearing that he is recovering well, and we hope to see him back out at Singapore, so that will be a change for that one. Now that brings us to the end of the motorsport news, of course, and more global news really. On the 8th of September, it was announced that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II had passed away. She was 96 years of age, and she'd ruled the UK and, of course, the Commonwealth for 70 years. And I have to say, I was quite saddened by the news. She had been my monarch since I was born, of course. It's the only monarch I've ever known, so it's a big change for a lot of people around the world, of course. But I feel like a lot of people around the world will be greatly saddened by the news, and she will be very sorely missed. we move on now to our next guest, Brandon Carr, who recently raced at Kim Bolton for the British Kart Championships, which was also very heavily affected over the past weekend that was announced of Queen Elizabeth. Brandon, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to chat a little bit about the weekend at Kim Bolton. Obviously, Friday, the news was announced on Thursday evening, and then Friday at the kart track, racing was cancelled, or practice was cancelled. In terms of the weekend, how did that really affect the weekend so far?
It didn't really affect much on my point of view, but it might affect other people with less amount of testing. But it didn't really affect much apart from the timetable, but everything was good.
I mean, it can shake up the weekend quite a lot, but going into it, Saturday, very busy day. You had practice, you had qualifying, and you had all your heats crammed into one day on Saturday. Firstly, how did the Saturday go? I mean, I was there, but we weren't live, so I didn't really get to see much of the racing.
Yeah, it was good. Started off a bit all right in practice, just getting the kart set up right and seeing how everything went. And then quali came, and it was a bit wet, a bit dry. It was raining, not raining. So it was a close call for quali. Some people went out on slicks, some people went out on wets. We chose the wets, and I'm not sure. I think it was the right choice, but at the end of the session, it was getting towards slicks.
Yeah, it was challenging weather conditions, wasn't it? Because the weather, I'm pretty sure it said over the Saturday there was no chance of rain whatsoever, and we got hit 3 times at very interesting parts of the day by heavy rain showers. So it made it very, very challenging for a lot of drivers. But Sunday came, and a little bit better results. I mean, we came in pre-final, I think, was a race win as well for you. I think you came through for that one. And then the final, of course, another race win. But again, a challenging weekend nonetheless.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend. Won all the heats. One of them I come second, but due to penalties, we won. But then the second one was a good one, and then just had to keep calm and just keep going, not put things in front, just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, this season's looked pretty good so far. I mean, you go into the final kind of round ahead by about 30. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. I say I have I have the timing or the scores in front of me. But you go into it with actually quite an advantage. I mean, the next person behind you, Vinnie Phillips, 870 points. You've got 936. So you're looking pretty comfortable, I would say, going into the final round, which is a double header as well for Rotax.
Yeah. It'll be good because I don't think there's a pre-final.
No.
So it's hard to say, but just gotta keep consistent, not make mistakes, and we should be all right.
Wilton's obviously a track that you're very familiar with, of course, but and of course it came in, of course, with the Car Sport team. You had a bit of a disaster, really, with one of your teammates at Wilton on the last one from Nathan Clifford, and of course we do wish him all the best and hope he is recovering well after his crash there. But you know, it shows that Wilton is a tough circuit to race on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of the bumpiest there, but it's still one of the best. The track limits, it's helped a little bit, but I think it'll be all right. I think people will get around it.
Yeah, because they have done that, haven't they, quite recently, where they've extended the track limits. They've painted the sort of runoff area to say that it is an extension of the circuit. It is a thing. And like you say, it has helped a little bit with being able to, I would say, is it more just being able to carry a bit more speed around the corner?
Yeah, it helps. Helps use more track on the exit. Helps better. But then if you go too far, you do get a penalty. You get a warning and then a penalty if you go too far. So you just got to make sure you're not too far over.
Yeah. So
two wheels on the inside of on the track.
Right. Okay. So yeah, you can go a little bit further, but not all the way off. So yeah. So they are still watching things like that, which is good to see. So it still makes it a little bit of a challenge for drivers. Now, of course, karting for you, it's been quite a journey for your karting, hasn't it? I mean, the most important thing is that where did it all start for you? Where was the first time that you got into a kart?
I think if I can remember right, it was at PF in a Bambina.
Yeah, and it was just so that was your first time. It wasn't a little cart that your dad got or something and put it on the driveway or anything like that. And you just did a couple of laps in a circle on the driveway, which is how a lot of people get into the sport, I have to say. But for you, no, proper kart, proper track, and jumped in it there, and you enjoyed it, and you've taken it from there. And
Yeah. As soon as Christmas morning came, cart under the tree, and then just decided to go to PF, pretty local-ish, about an hour and a bit away. And yeah, it's all just went on from there.
yeah, I wish I got a cart under the Christmas tree. I won't lie. I can't remember the last thing I got under a Christmas tree. It wasn't anything good. So socks, I think. Which I've still got. I think I'm wearing the socks on Christmas, actually. So there you go. But anyway, it's we go into the final round, of course, for the X30 class as well. That's going to be at PFI. Now, we've got the IMEO plate that's coming up as well. Are you taking part in that as well?
Yeah.
So PFI, you've got a couple of weekends at PFI before you go to Wilton. So lots happening. And like you say, you started your racing in a Bambino at PFI. So it's one of those tracks that you enjoy.
Yeah. PF, in my opinion, one of the best tracks out there. Smooth, got the bridge section, difficult, and it's just one of the best, I think. Yeah. Personally.
It is a good track. It's very fast. It's very flowing. And, of course, you came away from Kart Masters this year with a GP win. Well, let's talk a little bit about that because you started that final at the back of the grid.
Yeah. It was just unbelievable. When I went across the line, I was in shock. I didn't know what really was happening.
I mean, Chris McCarthy was doing the grid interviews. He actually took the time to walk all the way down the grid to go and chat to you, thinking you were one of the drivers who was one of the favourites to go for the win. You were one of my predictions to win that final as well. So on our little commentators competition between myself, Henry Burdett, and Chris McCarthy, you were on my choice of people to win that one. And when I saw you started at the back, I'd be like, "Oh no, I may have picked wrong here," but you came through.
Yeah, it was good. It was just a good all weekend, and then just got a bit of bad luck in the pre, and then just came back for a final.
Yeah, because what was it in the pre? It was the exhaust had came off, didn't it? And didn't it gouge a big hole in one of the tyres as well?
Yeah, the manifold came off, and it like somehow wrapped itself around the tyre, and then like melted all the inside all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, and then obviously scrutineering saw that, changed the. Was it like just the one rear tyre that was changed, or was it both?
Yeah, just the left rear.
Just the left rear.
Lapper.
Yeah, so you had that benefit, of course, of having a fresher tyre, but the rest were all the originals. So obviously, and that was changed for safety reasons, of course. But taking that through to start the back to get through an entire grid of karts at PFI without finishing a race with a nose cone either is still quite an impressive drive as well.
Thank you.
But going forward from that, of course, next season. Do you step up to seniors next year, or is it still another year in juniors for you?
Yeah, we'll move up to senior.
Okay, so moving up into senior, is it planned to do both next year, both Rotax and X30 next year?
I'm not sure. We haven't really spoke about it. We just thought we'd get this year out of the way, do what we can, and then see what happens next year.
As of course, you're in line to win the championship this year in the junior Rotax, meaning you get that number 1 plate, but of course the step up into senior, meaning you won't be able to run that number 1 plate, which is always one of those shames, isn't it? You win it on your last year before you move up. But is it kind of like one of those things where you think, I think junior Rotax was good. I want to step up into senior Rotax because senior X30 or junior X30, sorry, it's not gone sort of the way you've wanted it to. You're not far down the points, but it's not gone as well as the Rotax. Is there any particular reason why that is? Is it just the different karts, the different tyres? Is it just a slightly more difficult kart to drive, or?
We had a bit of bad luck at Risington. We had electric failure in the first heat when it was wet, and then got caught up in someone else's crash in the second heat. So I had to start from the back again in the pre. And we worked his way back up to 16th, I think. And then in the final went from 16th to 10. So it wasn't too bad, but just to get just got a bit unlucky, really.
So just unlucky with the season itself. Nothing particular, like up with the car. They kind of drive a little bit the same. But it does breed the ultimate question, doesn't it? And it's a question that I think I get asked a lot, and it's a question that I ask a lot as well, is that what do you prefer? Is it Rotax or is it Miami? The ultimate question.
Yeah, loads of people said you'll change your mind from X30 to Rotax, but even though I've had the bad luck, I still prefer X30.
There we go. So you're an X30 fan. I have to say I'm a Rotax fan, but it's right. You can fight me. You can fight me about that at the next at the O plate, which of course is all Miami. So, but for me, I like all of them. The two-stroke smell, the sound, everything like that. It's fantastic. Brandon, we're pretty much at the end of the 10 minutes already. It has flown by. So thank you so much for taking your time out in the evening to chat to us. But going forward, of course, these next couple of rounds, you've got 2 rounds of PFI, like you say, the last round of the Rotax Challenge as well, or Rotax Championship at Wilton Mill as well. So lots of karting still coming up this year. And we do wish you all the best for those, and we wish you best for in the future as well.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, thank you very much to everyone who has joined us for episode 6 of the Alpha Live podcast. And a huge thank you, of course, to our 2 guests, Adam Shepard and Brandon Carr, for taking their time out of their very busy schedules for joining us today. Make sure you stay tuned for the next podcast and, of course, for all the upcoming Alpha Live live streams. Make sure you are and subscribing to the Alpha Live YouTube channel. If you are listening to this on Amazon Music, Spotify or Apple Music, unfortunately, you can't give us a like, but you could probably give us a follow, so make sure you do that. But until next time, it's bye for now.